Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today we are going to declutter our minds. So today I have 3 very practical tips for you on how to declutter your mind. As chronically ill, we often worry and we often have anxiety and we are stressed out about our illnesses, doctor's appointments, and so on and so on and so on. It's often a lot to deal with and we have a lot of thoughts going on, and if you're like me and you have ADD or ADHD, it's even worse, right? Your brain is just always making things up. So today we're going to declutter our mind, but before we do that, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like this video, share the video, and of course you can also go follow me on my Instagram that's also called The Art of Being Ill. The first tip I have for you on decluttering your mind is journaling. And this doesn't have to be writing a novel every time you write. But when you do get anxious, when you do get stressed out, when you do start to worry about a flare or test results or how to keep up, how to be social, when you are afraid if you're ever gonna be able to do this and this and this again, and so on, writing down those fears, those very negative, catastrophic thoughts, helps get it from your brain and out to paper. By writing down what is worrying you, you can get it out of your system and into paper. And it's not really important how long you write. Like, it can just literally be 5 words. It could be 5 sentences. It could be a whole book worth of notes. And it's not important about spelling and how you write. It's not really about the writing. It's about getting your negative, catastrophic thoughts out of your brain and into the paper so you can leave them there. It's a very simple yet effective exercise. And often the good thing about having a journal is that once you get past whatever worries you, for example, you worried about some test results from your doctor, you can read back and see, okay, this is what I really worried about and this is how it turned out. And that can teach you a little bit about that sometimes we as humans, we tend to always think the worst before it's even happened. So you might be able to learn a little bit about yourself and your thought pattern there. Tip number 2 is to limit the inputs you get on a daily basis. And this is everything from news to social media, anything really that is an input in your life. Let's start with news. We live in a very crazy world right now. Well, basically the world has always been crazy, but right now it seems a little overwhelming. And personally, for me, because I'm chronically ill, I tend to worry about things that most people might not. I worry when they're talking about a trade war, for example, I worry more about me being able to get the medicine that I need than I worry about the economy, right? I'm afraid I'm not gonna be able to get my meds, right? Because it comes from the US or whatever. Like, that's something I'm worried about. And I'm worried about being able to pay for the medicine because a trade war would, of course, increase prices and so on and so on and so on. There are many things. So what I really try to do is to not watch too much news. I sometimes go to a news website and read a little bit just to keep up. But I don't do that on a daily basis because especially right now, something insane happens every day. And I don't need the worry. I worry enough about keeping myself alive. So I'm basically just not watching too much news. I usually wait for the authorities to say something before I actually react to it, because it's like, as long as it's just news, it's just gonna make me crazy and worried and anxious and go into this negative thought pattern, especially because I have ADD. I usually think everything in a catastrophe, right? My brain always goes to worst case scenario and a little bit beyond that. So I don't need those kind of inputs. Other inputs that you could talk about is also social media. So only follow people on social media that actually has a benefit for you. So someone who makes you feel good, someone who do not stress you out about you're not doing enough to stay healthy, you're not doing enough to be cured, you have to live this life if you want to be healthy and this life if you want to cure whatever illness you have. That is not positive input. That is just people making you feel bad about being sick even though it's not your fault. So only follow people on social media that has value to you, someone who brings something positive to your life, who makes you feel understood, who may have a few good tips on how to dealing with chronic illness, but not in a judgmental way, and so on and so on and so on. So just unfollow anyone who is not making you feel good. And this is not only for people with chronic illness, those are not the only ones you need to only follow if they make a positive impact in your life. It goes for everything, right? If you are looking for food tips that are healthy for whatever illness you have, only follow the ones that you feel inspired by, not the ones you feel judged by. And just stay away from all accounts where, the comments are negative and so on. Like, just stay out of that. The algorithm is what I have seen on Instagram, for example, is that I'm really not shown a lot of bullshit in there anymore because I only follow the people I really like. So I only get that shown. I get shown people who are inspiring people with chronic illness mostly, and also some people who are inspiring when it comes to a plant-based diet that I also care a lot about, and so on and so on. So I make sure by choosing who to follow, what to interact with, I make sure that the only input I get on social media are the ones that benefits me and makes me feel better and makes me feel understood and inspired. Also turn off all kind of notifications on your social media platforms, so that you don't feel like you have to check everything all the time, because that is something that can stress you out as well. The last tip today is to make a to-do list. And you can maybe think, how's that decluttering your mind? Well, I don't know about you, but as someone who lives with chronic illness, there is a lot of doctor's appointments to remember. There's a lot of, I have to get this test done then and there, and then I have to wait for the call so that I can hear the test results. And maybe you have some kind of a social worker you also need to schedule meetings with, and by the way, you also kind of want to go to dinner with your girlfriends on Saturday, and there's just all remembering all the appointments, all the agreements you made, all the dates you made, all the family gatherings you need to go to, all that kind of stuff, remembering everything, people's birthdays, and so on and so on and so on. Remembering all these things is something that really is able to stress you out a lot, and it's just unnecessary clutter in your brain. It's unnecessary thoughts that don't need to be in there. So having a weekly planner, or just a calendar, or anything that could really help you. It could also be your Google Calendar. It doesn't have to be a paper calendar. And then write down when you have this doctor's appointments, when it's your mom's birthday, you have to go to her party, when you are supposed to get your blood test done, and so on and so on and so on. You can kind of take that out of the brain. Then that's out of the brain. That's not something you have to spend energy on remembering, because you wrote it down. So all you have to do is, on a daily basis or a weekly basis, depending on your memory, you just have to go look in your calendar and be like, oh, okay, that's what I have to do this week. I already know. It will also make you feel a little less anxious when somebody asks if you can do something, because you can see, okay, this is all I have to do this week. It's quite a lot. No, I should probably not go to lunch with my friend, because I already have so much to do and I have limited energy. So that's also a really good way for you to just have an idea of where to spend your energy, and you don't have to worry so much about it. So that's actually a really good way to just eliminate something from your brain that's really unnecessarily there, because a calendar can remember probably better than you can, to be honest. I hope you really enjoyed these 3 tips on how to declutter your mind. This is only the first video about decluttering your mind. This is not the last one. But these are just the first 3 tips that I wanted to share with you and that you can try out, and let me know how that goes, you know, in the comments down below, or DM me on Instagram and tell me if any of this is working for you. And remember, you don't have to do all of it. Just do whatever feels best for you. Maybe that's journaling. Maybe that is, limited your social media, or it's writing down in calendars. Maybe it's all, maybe it's 2 of them. You don't have to do everything, right? You just have to do what works for you and what you find necessary for you in order to declutter your mind. But I really hope you liked the video, and I will just wish you guys a blessed rest of the day, and I'll see you next time right here on my channel, The Art of Being Ill.